Yeah, good.
I think so.
Am I worried about how I look?
Marvelous.
I love that movie.
Howdy, church family. Welcome back to our discussions where we talk about our prayer study, life-changing prayer. We just finished week 3. It was another good one. Guys, we talked about peace on Sunday. I don't know that worry is necessarily the opposite of peace, but I really like Jared said about it earlier. Worry is definitely not a peaceful thing, right? But the phrase that we also use Sunday morning and used in the book several times too is worry is a sin. And I just really kind of drew that line. So why do you think, I'm going to say why does that feel so painful, and why do you think Christians tend to run away from that concept of worry being a sin?
Yeah, to be honest, for me, worry is not letting go of something that you're either thinking about or concerned about, and you give it to God, but sometimes you take it back. Like you're just like, and so I think that's where it becomes sinful, is that you're not trusting God with that situation, and so that's where it becomes sinful. And I think we were talking earlier, but just talking about how worry, we don't like to think about it as sin because it comes so easy. There's so many things as humans that we worry about and are concerned about, and it's so easy for that to come, and so we don't want to say it's sin because then that's saying that we're sinners, but really we are.
It's easy to worry. Now, for some people, it's easier than others because it depends on the personality.
Right.
I always say there was 2 things I inherited from my parents. From my dad, I inherited impatience, and from my mom, I inherited worry. Put those 2 together, and you got a matching gasoline. Yeah. So it depends on the person's character and personality. Some people do worry more than others, but as I was reading that question, it did convict me. It did convict me because. I could see my mom when she was in a worry mode. Boy, I was concerned for her. Mm-hmm. And so it's a good reminder. When I begin to feel that, I stop and I say, it's kind of like when you're on fire. They said, stop, hit the ground and roll. Well, stop, get on your knees and pray.
Yeah.
When that happens.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Jay, thank you, Sue.
Yeah, I like what Jared said. We take it back. And that's where the worry begins.
Sure.
Many of us want to be in control of that one thing. And when we're not, it becomes a worry. Yeah. And so dropping on our knees at that point. Yeah.
So really, somebody asked me on Sunday morning, why do we say that worry is a sin? The answer really comes down to, if the scriptures tell us to don't do something and we do it, that's sin, right? So we're told by Jesus and by Paul, don't worry. Instead, we're supposed to pray. And then that's when God gives us that peace. That's why Philippians 4 is so good. That all being said, we're all humans here. Worry comes pretty naturally. As you pointed out, for some even more so than others, it's something we were even taught. Maybe not actively, but definitely taught. So what is something, because we're going to be honest with our church family, what's something that y'all worry about that you have to take to the Father frequently?
Yeah, for me, it's big decisions. Those are going to come around a lot, and I tend to chew on them, pray about them, but then I take them back and be like, I don't know, I want to talk through this a little bit more, and so that's the big one for me. And I think that then leads to one of the questions talking about how that trigger every time that worry comes back leads to me being anxious about it, and then I can't make a choice, and then and so my big thing is I need to hit the floor and say, okay, God, like I give this to you. I know it's still God expects us to do things as He tells us, then expects us to take steps. But giving it to Him first, because most of the time, and all the time really, that you do that decision is going to come out so much more clear because you're willing to stop and not mull it over and chew it up and spit it out and then chew it again. And I know that sounds gross, but that's what it is, like that's what it is when we worry. Is
but we think about it over and over
and
over again. Yes. Yeah. Because that one thing that triggers. And I know who takes care of me. I get that. God takes care of me. He provides for all my needs. I know that. But man, thinking about losing Dave, I can't even go there. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that triggers it for me.
Sure.
But then, you know what? I get to clean out his garage. No, I make fun of that, and I shouldn't. But that's the one thing that gets me.
And I should say, it's worth pointing out, like, there's serious, big-time issues in people's lives.
Yes.
It's not like the Lord is telling us not to worry about menial issues, right? There's big stuff. David, what were you going to say?
The two things that usually comes to my mind about this question is my family, my sons. I tell people I pray for my kids more now that they're adults and away from the house than when they're home. And you'll experience that. And the other has to do with whether or not am I doing well enough for this person or that person. You know, that may be a performance trap thing, but I wonder about that and worry about that. Is this good enough for them? So it's good. Those are some of the key things.
So many times we lose sight of God's word. If we just get back to that, I have overcome the world. The world! Not just Dave's garage, but the world. You know what I'm saying? We lose sight of that. And that's where the peace, that perfect peace.
Oh man.
No, mine's kind of like yours. If I worry about anything, it's all these teenagers that I'm supposed to be leading, right? There's 130 students in the youth ministry. They come from 29 different schools. All of them have different families and different experiences, and I'm supposed to be leading this ship, whether there's COVID going or not. That's just a lot of babies to be coming at. Just early on in my ministry, when we would leave on a trip, I had 2 or 3 moms that would say, "Hey, you remember this is precious cargo," and that's driving the church van, right? I don't drive many church vans anymore, but I take that even more seriously now. Like it's precious cargo. It's a big deal for my kids, but now I'm dealing with other people's kids. That all being said, all of these things we mentioned are things that we can take to the Father. And as you pointed out, He's got them in His hands. He already has them more, whether we acknowledge His sovereignty or not, He's got them. But we can do a good job of reminding each other, hey, let's take this to the Father. So church family, for starters, we need you to help us keep reminding us to take stuff to the Father, and we're going to keep reminding you to do the same thing. So this Sunday we're talking about trust, which is an awfully perfect bridge. If there's stuff we're worried about, we need to trust Jesus take care of us. So y'all come and join us on Sunday. It's going to be a great day. We love y'all. We'll see you soon. Bye.